You never hear nothing bad about Alicia Keys.
Yeah, you do.
What do you
Y'all just don't hear nothing about
it. I thought her record was pretty clean.
No. Not fucking around with Swizz and not breaking up happy homes. Like, people are forgetting when she moved into Swizz and them's house to work on the music with him, he was still married to his wife, living in that same house. And then she moved in while she was cool with the wife.
Everyone's buzzing about a late-night claim that new footage just surfaced. Clips that, according to Jaguar Wright, point to Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz heading for a divorce. She says she's got evidence, timelines, and moments people missed, and the internet is stitching it together like a true crime board. And that tension between what's claimed and what's confirmed is why this story has a chokehold on the timeline right now. Fans are combing through concerts, backstage clips, and old interviews.
When we first launched the reunion show, somebody that claims to be working in Swizz's camp reached out to me in what I now know is a DM via direct messenger, right? Saying, I work for Swizz and I need you to know that him and Lala have been having an affair. They are madly in love with each other, but he has already told Lala and continues to tell her, calm down, I'm not leaving my wife. If you don't believe me, go on his page on IG. He always starts leaving comments in the morning and she be the first one to respond. But she don't just leave one response. She keeps it going and going and going to the point where he says, you got to chill because it's starting to look obvious.
Trying to decode smiles and silence, and the conversation is getting louder by the hour. Wright's angle? She says the signs were there all along. The question is whether those signs add up to anything real. But listen to this. When rumors collide with a celebrity couple this powerful, the narrative becomes its own engine. Sponsors, brands, and family all get dragged into the frame, and suddenly a simple no comment starts to look like strategy.
First of all, I was not in your mess, Alicia Keys, but I do love you. You my girl, and Swizz Beatz, I really never care for you because you cheated on your first wife to get Alicia Keys. So you know what they say, what goes around, come around. Karma, we right in your face. Now this is what they say. I don't know. They say Swizz Beatz got the side chick pregnant. Just what they say. They say their divorce is final. But I like Alicia Keys, but Alicia Keys, now, you know that man was married before you married him? You already know he was married.
So today, we're laying out what Wright claims, what the so-called new footage supposedly shows, why fans are convinced something's off, and what the receipts actually prove or don't. Stay with me, because the parts people aren't talking about might be the most important. It started with a fresh round of uploads and livestream talk. Jaguar Wright saying she's holding new evidence that Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz aren't just going through a rough patch, they're allegedly unraveling behind the scenes.
Both married? I mean, think about it. It's an easy thing to do, okay? Both of them are married. Both of them are in high-profile, controversial relationships. Swizz is married to Alicia Keys. Y'all keep saying Alicia Keys stole that man. You can't steal nothing, okay? That don't belong to you. I just want to put that out there, okay? Carmelo has been embarrassing Lala before her body and after her body, okay? She the only one I know when it got her body done to match the chicks that he been screwing and he's still screwing. I'm like, when does it end? He was beating it so bad, allegedly. Swizz told Lala, listen, you gotta back up. People are starting to talk. But Lala was enjoying herself too much. I don't think that Lala was well within her right to hit something, but she had to be strategic. If she gonna hit somebody that's got a bigger dick.
She describes clips and screenshots that, in her words, connect the dots, from backstage moments and event run-ins to supposedly telling comments and timing that looks too neat to ignore. The narrative builds quickly. A hint of distance here, an out-of-sync appearance there, a caption that suddenly reads like a message. And when she talks, she doesn't whisper. She drops names, anchors dates, and speaks like someone who's been in the room. That's why the clips, even when ambiguous, feel loaded once she frames them. It gets crazier.
only was it a front, I think that's what makes Alicia Keys so goddamn sinister. Because if you go back, y'all can go search Mashonda's Twitter tweets, where she was crashing the fuck out and she was writing letters and all types of shit. Like, this woman was really trying to figure it out and she needed some proof. And Alicia Keys wouldn't say nothing, or she kept denying it. And then, like, as soon as you get with him and he's your man, now you want to talk to me? Now you're the bigger woman and the girl's girl, and now you're so mature and we're just gonna blend our fucking families? Like,
Because as soon as the content hit, fan pages and commentary channels grabbed it, adding their own circles and arrows to anything that could be read as a signal, rings, follows, photos, even what isn't posted. Wright's core pitch is simple. The footage reveals more than people want to admit. But to be clear, none of this has independent verification. No mainstream outlet has corroborated her claims, and nothing she's posted so far confirms a legal split. What it does do is stir up an old conversation with new energy, and that's enough to set timelines on fire. To really understand why these rumors stick, you have to remember how this story began.
On ourselves individually, we healed our children, we gave them an opportunity to see us growing, and that's the real blend.
Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz made their relationship public around 2008 to 2009 and married in 2010. They have 2 sons, Egypt and Genesis, and a blended family that includes Swizz's children from previous relationships. Back in 2009, Swizz's ex-wife Mashonda posted an open letter that accused Alicia of stepping into the relationship before it was fully over, and that moment branded the pairing with controversy from the start.
I just feel like, why would she be divorcing him now? He's been a cheater. I mean, that's how they got together. You know what I mean? It ain't no fun when the rapper got the gun. But all I'm saying is, she knows who she married. If he has it in him to cheat on Mashonda, he has it in him to cheat on you. He's been cheating the whole relationship. That's just who he is.
Over time, the public picture shifted. By 2018, Mashonda released her co-parenting book, Blend, with Alicia and Swizz participating in the messaging, and the family positioned itself as an example of healing, growth, and unity. That arc matters. But that's not all. Because when people remember the intensity of those early headlines, they're primed to believe that anything involving Alicia and Swizz, good or bad, has a dramatic backstory. Even a normal year of separate tours, studio sessions, or brand deals can read like a problem if you're already convinced there's smoke. The timeline is complicated, and once something starts complicated, the internet rarely lets it become simple again. So when Wright pops up with new footage, she's not speaking into a vacuum. She's tapping into a decade-old fault line. Jaguar Wright is no stranger to explosive claims. A respected neo-soul vocalist in her own right, she spent the last few years calling out alleged industry secrets, posting long-form lives, and naming names with a level of detail that makes people stop scrolling. She's polarizing. Some listeners say she's pulling back the curtain on a carefully managed machine, and others argue she mixes unverified stories with real history to create something that feels true even when it isn't proven. That split is the point. She brings conviction and a tone that feels inside, and once that tone lands, neutral facts start to look like evidence. But here's the kicker. The track record on verification is mixed. Some of her biggest claims across the years have remained unconfirmed or disputed by the people involved. In other words, when she talks, the audience grows, but the proof doesn't always keep up. So with this Alicia and Swizz angle, the question isn't, is she loud? It's, what do we actually know? Wright says the new footage is compelling. The truth is we have clips with no clear timestamp, screenshots with cropped edges, and interpretations that rely on mood more than material. And that gap between a captivating storyteller and the receipts matters. So what are we really looking at? According to Wright's framing and the chatter around it, some of the receipts are a mashup, a grainy backstage clip where a brief exchange looks tense, an old interview where a casual line suddenly reads like a confession, a screenshot of a comment that might be shade or might be nothing, a quick moment at an event where two people don't stand together, which gets mapped as a message. Taken separately, they're ordinary. Seen through a lens of, this proves a split, they start to look connected. But that's not the whole story. In celebrity life, context is king. Backstage can be chaos. Publicists move people like chess. Someone's ring might be off because they're rehearsing, performing, or dealing with wardrobe. An unfollow can be a glitch, a misclick, or a soft rebrand. When clips are short and sources aren't confirmed, a narrative can be built from coincidence. That doesn't mean the narrative is impossible, it means it isn't demonstrated. Wright presents the footage as dots. The question is whether the lines drawn between them are real, or if the internet is playing connect the dots with a picture it wants to see. Until timestamps, sources, and unedited versions surface, this new footage stays in the realm of suggestion, not proof. Every time celebrity breakup rumors flare up, the comments section becomes a CSI lab. With Alicia and Swizz, the usual signals are on repeat. Fewer joint posts, solo red carpets, captions that sound like coded messages, and the ever-viral ring watch. People zoom in on hands. They do before and after collages. They track travel schedules, trying to prove distance with flight paths and show dates. And because both Alicia and Swizz are booked and busy, there's enough selective silence to fuel any theory you want. It gets deeper. Because fans don't stop at what's posted, they analyze what's not posted, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and if a photo doesn't drop, that missing post becomes the headline. Still, reality check. Artists often keep family out of the feed for privacy or brand strategy. They might post late or not at all. A month without a couple shot isn't a court filing. And when you zoom back out, there are recent family moments that cut against the rumor flow, joint appearances, co-parenting wins, interviews that still sound united. The tricky part is that both stories can live online at once. A highlight reel that says, "We're good," and a rumor mill that says, "Look closer." Which story wins depends on what you're already ready to believe. Here's the part most people miss. A high-profile marriage like this isn't just romance, it's infrastructure. You've got touring, publishing, philanthropy, real estate, endorsements, and a public-facing image that companies invest in. If there were problems, and that's an if, timing would matter. Big announcements can move markets, shift negotiations, and rearrange press cycles. That's why, in celebrity worlds, silence can be strategy just as much as disclosure. But hold on. That doesn't mean there's a hidden plan or a secret countdown to a statement. It just means that what looks like no news can be perfectly normal for two global stars protecting their business and their kids. People expect public figures to explain every mood, every distance, every missing photo, but that's not how it works when your last name is also a brand. So when Wright says, "They're keeping it quiet," it resonates, not because we know it's true, but because it fits a believable framework. It's a framework with moving parts, lawyers, PR, and contracts. And once you lay that framework onto everyday moments, everything starts to look like a clue. The smarter play is to separate the machinery of celebrity from the human reality, and not confuse strategy with secrecy when there's no verified event to report. Let's put pins in the board. Confirmed, Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz are married as of this recording, with no official statement announcing a split and no public legal filing. Confirmed, Jaguar Wright has made new claims, shared clips and commentary, and framed them as revealing deeper trouble. Unverified, that this new footage proves anything more than interpretation, that the alleged timelines are accurate, that any of the social signals amount to evidence. Gray zone, fans reading body language, captions, and appearances through their own assumptions and history with this couple. Here's the curveball. In the absence of confirmed news, the loudest story tends to win, not the truest. That's why speculation spreads faster than corrections, because it's exciting, dramatic, and easy to repeat. But if you demand receipts with clear sources, timestamps, and context, the pile of proof gets smaller fast. That doesn't mean fans are wrong to notice patterns. It means noticing isn't the same as knowing. Until there's a statement or filings, all we have is talk. Talk that can be interesting, even compelling, but talk nonetheless. And that's the line this conversation keeps blurring. So what changed? If similar whispers pop up every few years, why is this round sticking? Part of it is timing. Alicia's in a strong era with tours and projects, Swizz stays visible with major collaborations and art world moves, and their family brand is established, so any hint of turbulence feels like a bigger plot twist. Ad Wright's delivery, confident, continuous, and calibrated for viral moments. And suddenly the same kind of clip that would have floated by last year becomes today's headline. But there's a catch. The internet's attention span is short, but its memory is long. It can make a rumor feel urgent without making it credible. When your feed is built for speed, ambiguity looks like intrigue, and a small shift reads like a confession. That's what's happening here. The more people dissect the same 2 or 3 clips, the more meaning those clips collect, even if nothing new is added. Interest becomes certainty. Certainty becomes truth. That's not reporting, that's momentum. And momentum isn't evidence. So yes, this rumor feels louder. It's engineered to feel loud. But if you strip the viral coding off, you're still left with claims that need support they don't yet have. Jaguar Wright's latest drop is designed to spark debate. She says the new footage pulls back the curtain on Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz, that the dots connect, and that the story people see in public isn't the whole picture. The conversation is loud because the stakes feel big. This is a famous couple with a long, complicated timeline, a blended family, and a brand that reaches far beyond music. The clips, the captions, the signals, they create a compelling puzzle when they're stacked together. But here's the bottom line. As of now, there's no official announcement of a split, no filing, and no verification that the footage proves anything beyond interpretation. That doesn't make the conversation pointless, but it does mean the word evidence is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Rumors suggest trouble. Reports claim the signs are obvious. It's been said that the story is about to break. Maybe, or maybe we're watching the internet do what it always does, build a narrative faster than facts can catch up. If something official drops, we'll update. Until then, ask yourself which clue you're using to decide, and whether you'd believe that same clue if the names weren't this famous. Drop your take in the comments. What's the strongest signal you've seen, and what would count as actual proof? Because in a world where anything can be framed as a hint, the hard part isn't spotting the dots. It's knowing when they really connect.